Hey guys, Spud here, and this morning as I was flying my Mirage F-15E and practicing flying the Mirage for one of my upcoming missions, I saw the release of the very first video from Matt Wagner on the upcoming MiG-29A Fulcrum. Of course, I was as excited and pumped as everyone else to finally see some beautiful footage of the aircraft in-game and see some great views of the cockpit from the player's perspective. And a huge thank you to Wags and ED for showing off the very first full-fidelity red side modern aircraft. But over the last few months, I have been having some thoughts brewing in my head for quite a while about the MiG-29 and other upcoming releases and really the future of DCS World and its player base going forward. This also ties into the subject of maps in DCS World, and I have been meaning to make an additional video on this subject, I just haven't gotten around to it, so apologies because it is still on the docket. I have really noticed a marked circular pattern with the release of new aircraft within DCS World. That I believe the community and the developers will have to reckon with somehow. And I know that others have seen it as well and commented on it in my Discord server and in comments in my YouTube videos as well. And it goes a little something like this. The MiG-29A will release to much fanfare and a massive hype train. Lots of DCS World players will buy it and fly it in single player and multiplayer servers and missions. Realize it's very hard to fly, has a terribly laid out cockpit, a tiny combat radius, and equipped with a slew of outdated and harder to use weapons. And within a week or two, 95% of the players will be back to flying the DCS F-16C or FA-18C Hornet. It's a pattern I have seen again and again and again through multiple releases now. The Mirage F1, the F4E Phantom II, the JF-17 Thunder, and to a lesser extent the F-14 Tomcat. But we'll circle back around to the Tomcat in just a moment here. When the Mirage F1 first released, I filled up an entire mission with them. When the F4E released, I hosted a mission with more than 30 F4 pilots, and that was over the Afghanistan map if you can believe it or not. The moral of the story that I've seen, unfortunately, is if it's not an AMRAAM or JDAM chucker, nobody wants to fly it. Now in my missions, I will probably get between 0 and 2 Mirage F1 pilots, maybe 4, sometimes as many as 6 F4 pilots, and usually absolutely 0 JF-17 Thunder pilots, which is puzzling to me, because the Thunder is an AMRAAM and JDAM chucker, and more modern than both the Charlie Hornet or Block 50 Viper. Now, why is this a problem? Well, for the devs of the aircraft themselves, it's not such a huge problem, because a lot of people have paid for their aircraft and so they are getting a return on their investment. But it leads to the same circular feedback loop that leads to a dearth of content for DCS World maps. If campaign makers and server hosts see that people aren't flying an aircraft, then they won't build or provide content for it, free or paid. If players see there's no content for an aircraft, they won't buy it, which leads to quickly slumping sales for non-AMRAAM chucking aircraft. Now, why do we see more people still flying the F-14 Tomcat, but still of course not as many that fly the Viper or Hornet? Of course, there is the nearly mythical place the Tomcat holds in the hearts of aviation fans because of movies like Top Gun and The Final Countdown. But I think that Heat Blur did a really important thing with the F-14 release. They released the F-14B version first, and I adamantly believe that if players had to deal with the F-14A and its temperamental TF-30s right off the bat, most people would say screw this and go back to flying the F-16C and FA-18C. And this is borne out and evidenced by the fact that if I have F-14As on a sign-up sheet for a mission, nobody signs up for them. But if I shift it to F-14B slots, they're full in moments. And it's my opinion that Argies and Heat Blur both made a big mistake when it came to the release of the Mirage F1 and F4E Phantom II. They should have released the most capable versions of those jets first, the Mirage F1M and DMAS upgraded F4E, and then worked backwards to deliver earlier, less capable versions of the same jets to give players who wanted it additional choice. And I think we'd see more players flying those jets as a result. And of course, I think people will absolutely flock to the F-14BU when the turkey is turned into a JDAM chucker. And when it comes to the JF-17, I just think that it has zero name recognition, which of course plays a factor here as well, just the same way that the F-14's mythical status within aviation geekdom is definitely a thing as well. And this is all despite it being fantastically capable and is truly the most modern aircraft in DCS World by quite a long shot. And well, all of these reasons coalesce into why people were and are just so massively upset about the loss of the F-15E and the whole Razbam situation. Because it was a teen series, American, JDAM, and AMRAAM chucker. Even if I did start to see that migration back away from the F-15E because of the fact that it's not fly-by-wire and it's harder to fly. To wrap it up here, I know that I'll definitely be flying the MiG-29 Fulcrum for a long time following its release. Just like I fly and love the Mirage F1, F4E, and other older, less capable aircraft. And my hype for aircraft like the upcoming F-104 and F-100 are sky high. But it remains to be seen how many actually continue to fly the DCS MiG-29 Fulcrum when they realize why there's a reason the Fulcrum's after takeoff checklist is gear up, flaps up, blow up. So if you're looking for a new experience in DCS World, try giving the older non-AMRAAM chucking jets another chance. Thanks guys, we'll see you in the next one, and fly safe out there.